Hi. Um, I'm here because I have always told myself that one day I'll put myself out there. And by putting myself out there, I mean for the world to see. Um, I realize that I've been playing my life too small. And this year, I've decided that I don't want to do that anymore. I've decided that this is a fear that's held me back, and I'm not going to allow it to hold me back anymore. I want to free myself from beliefs that I've held on to for too long, that have limited myself. And so I'm here today really because I washed my hair. Um, I wanted to make sure my hair looked okay because I'm sure sometimes you'll see me and it'll be... Anyways. But I wanted to get on here and introduce myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Connor, and I am hilarious to start. I'm intuitive, and I'm creative, very expressive, and I hope that through this channel you get to know me a little bit better, and I also hope that I get to know myself a little bit better, at the very least. Now, other than a little bit of intro, I really didn't have much specifically planned for today. In the future, I think I will. I think I'll have talking points. I usually don't prepare things before I speak. Maybe I should. Maybe that'll be part of my process. But this is new to me. I've really never done anything like this. Whenever I've got in front of the cameras, because I've been part of some kind of project of someone else, and I kind of tense up and I feel like I don't actually show who I really am, which is dumb because I really feel like the world would be a better place if I did express myself more. And so whether this channel pops off is not really the goal. Really, I'm starting my practice of channeling messages that I feel like need to get across, either for really it's going to be things that are happening in my life that I feel like others might be able to take something away from. I definitely have lived an interesting life, and as I start to loosen up, I will be telling stories of how I've gotten to where I am now, what I'm doing now, and where I want to go. So today I'm setting the intention for this channel, for it to be a place that I can come to, a safe place that I can come to and express myself, and get over my fears. I want to get over my fears of being judged, not as much by other people, but being my own worst critic. I'm sure, I know I'm not the only one who, I'm setting the intention today. of getting to know myself on a new level, sharpening up my skills. Video editing is not my thing. I'm gonna say that right here, right now, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. I'm no camera person, okay? It is not my forte. I'm not good at editing. Anything to do with technology is really, don't ask me. Do not ask me. What does this button do? I don't know, okay? So work with me, work with me. I'm doing my best. I will probably change things around and see what works best, but for now, this is what it's gonna be. I don't wanna have to edit shit. I do not wanna have to do several takes and all of this. Like, no. I'm not trying to give you a production, you know? If anything, this is more of a vlog and not like a cutesy, like, you know, old YouTube kind of thing. This is like gonna be giving like 60-year-old author who lives alone and does live streams and talks about plants. Like, that's probably what it's gonna be more like in terms of my tech skills. So I'm not sure, you know, what the kids are doing these days. I've been out of the loop for a little bit. And I guess I'll start there. So today is, what's today? The 27th of March, 2024, or as we know it. Time has been moving weird lately, so it's hard to think about, but we're coming up almost 2 years ago. May. Let's go to March 2022. March 2022. I was in school, and I was on spring break. And for spring break, I decided to come out to San Diego, and I decided to stay with a friend who was staying with a group of friends. Basically, I joined someone else's spring break group last minute. I got talked into it, and I ended up having fun. But, you know, normal spring break stuff. We were staying on the beach. We were drinking, and I definitely had too much going on. Not enough food, too many substances, and my body was just completely overwhelmed. I said, okay, I need to remove myself. I said, I'm gonna go take a shower. So I go into the bathroom, and I get into the shower, and I notice that my vision is going out. It's going black. And I kind of feel myself wobbling around, not really steady. And I go, what's happening? Like, this cannot be good. And I ended up snapping myself out of it. I was like, let me put like the cold water on or something. I can't have it on hot, clearly. So I put it colder. I finished up wrapping up in the shower, got out as quick as I could. And I was kind of just like, my heart was like definitely, I was tachycardic. I took a moment. I was like, looking at myself in the mirror, I was like, what is going on? Am I okay? Like, let's take a moment, let's breathe. Well, I didn't think anything of it. I figured that I had just probably pushed it too far. And I was like, well, I knew better. You get what you ask for. What can you do? So I took it easy for the rest of the trip. I didn't really, after that, I didn't really feel into it. And I go back to school, and I start finishing out the last part of my semester. I felt like school was going great. I feel like my studies were really coming together. In April, towards the end of April, I went out for a friend's birthday. A group of us went out to celebrate, and we came back. We had a great time. We came back. 3 of us, myself included, ended up with COVID. And at the time, I was living in student housing. And the policy was that you had to remain in your unit for 5 days in order to be cleared. And they restricted your access, like you couldn't enter buildings or anything like that. And they gave us like a Grubhub credit or something like that. Anyways, so my friend who I lived with at the time, I decided to make the best I could out of the situation. So I said, okay, it's gonna be like an extended sleepover then, and we'll just get through this together. I noticed over those few days that I couldn't get out of bed, first of all. Second of all, when I did get out of bed, my heart would start pounding. I would get blurry vision. I felt really woozy. And so I said, okay, I'm not gonna push it. I'm gonna hibernate for 5 days. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get through this, and get back to, life before. Around day 4, day 5, my friend starts feeling a lot better and is like, okay, like I'm ready, like I'm waiting until I'm cleared to go, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, me too, like I can't wait to get out of this, but I really don't feel all that much better. I'm still coughing a bunch. I still felt weak in my body. And the 5 days ended, and I didn't have a fever as much anymore. I didn't have a lot of my symptoms that I had with COVID. My breathing cleared, my congestion cleared. And I went on until May, when my semester ended. I took my finals, and then it was time to move out. Towards the end of finals week was the last day until my lease was up. And I was kind of worried because I knew that my body wasn't feeling all that right. And I had a lot of stuff. And not a lot of stuff, but I had like items that were maybe heavier that I wouldn't have been able to lift on my own. I was the last person to leave out of my roommates, so I had the most amount of work that I had to clear out all of our stuff before I left. And that was a tough week. I did my best to strategize on doing all of that stuff. By stuff, I mean like packing up all of my belongings and putting it into storage. Mind you, this is in Manhattan, okay? And it's just me. No car, no nada. I took stuff in Ubers back and forth and back and forth. It took me maybe 4 days to do this. It was exhausting, but I was like, it has to get done. If I don't do it, who will? No one. So I end up going, after I left after I moved out, I went to see a concert. This was going to be my last hurrah of the year before I went. I had a whole summer planned of traveling. I was planning on going around the US. I was planning on going around Europe. I had planned a world tour for myself that summer. I was really feeling it. I come back after the concert. I go back home to Arizona, and when I arrive home, my mom said, "What's going on with you? Like, you look off." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, you're very pale. Are you okay?" And she kind of felt me, and she was like, your pulse is high. It's irregular." And I said, "Well, I don't know. I'm still coughing." I had, by that point, been coughing for over 6 months. Just this heavy, deep cough that felt like, damn, all that came out of you. It just persisted, and it seemed to be getting worse over the course of the 6 months. By the time I was getting home to be with my family, I was planning on staying for a week before I started traveling around. My mom says to me, "Okay, it's Saturday night. On Monday, you need to get seen by a physician." And my doctor wasn't in on Monday, but I was able to see his colleague. And she said, "Okay, let me take a listen to you." And she says, I hear some crackling for sure. And when I see that, I think of pneumonia. It's definitely pneumonia. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, a Z-Pack or whatever. And I'll give you an inhaler. You'll pick them up from the pharmacy. You'll take them as prescribed. You'll use your inhaler as needed, and you'll be fine in a few weeks. It could take a few weeks to clear up. My mom says, I don't know about that. How about we get him scanned, his chest scanned? I just want to make sure. Because it really, really sounded concerning, and I'm not certain that it's pneumonia. I'm not certain I agree. So the doctor says, all right, normally I wouldn't order imaging in a case like this. But for you, Mom, I will go ahead and do that. So she orders me to get an image, just a simple x-ray, chest only. And I went right after, and they told me, okay, we'll send this over to your doctor and you'll get a call with your results. I go home and I'm like, all right, I'm hungry. What's for lunch? What are we thinking? And as I'm starting to think about what I'm hungry for, I get a call, and it's from the doctor. And she says, would you please come back to the office so that I may speak with you? And I go, oh God. So I'm trying not to jump to the conclusions on the way over there. But my mom's rambling. She's like, what if it's this? What if it's that? And I'm like, just trying not to jump to conclusions, not to freak myself out. I go into the office. When we get there, she sits us down. She turns her monitor, her computer on her desk, to face us. And she says, when I see an image like this, and it was totally white right here on the image, on the x-ray. She says, when I see all this white in the middle, I think leukemia. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm so sorry, but you need to get emergent care. And before she could even finish, my mom burst out sobbing, of course. And poor thing. And I was stunned completely. Was not expecting that on a Monday. I said, okay. And I figured I would listen to what they tell me and do what I had to do. My family discussed with me quickly after that I should get seen at Mayo Clinic. And I said, okay. So I went home. I packed an overnight bag, and we headed up to Phoenix. And when I arrived there, I didn't feel like I was that sick, you know? I didn't feel like I could die any minute. Not at all. I was not at all in that kind of headspace. I was just in shock. That's all. When I get there, I go to the ER, and they're like, sorry, but we don't really have room right now. This is after I've waited for them to see me and give me an opinion. They had me sitting, waiting for hours. They come out, they're like, yeah, we don't really have room to admit you, but we'll let you know if there is room later. So, obviously very frustrated. I'm checked out at this point. My mother insists that I be seen, and this is indeed an emergency. My pulse was elevated, and I just was out of it. I ended up getting admitted, not because we pleaded with them, but because a room became available. And the reason why a room became available was because when they had me registered, I guess, taken in, they did a COVID swab on me as part of their protocol at the time. And it came back positive. They said you tested positive for COVID. And so I'm like, interesting. And they said, we will admit you into our quarantine area. And I think that's where I'll stop for today. But next time, I will pick back up. This week, I don't know if I expect to pick this story back up, but I do plan on coming back and showing face. So stay tuned. And yeah, until next time.